Your Passion. It's a website where you can find instant pot recipes, informational articles, all types of things about pressure cooking. I am cooking desserts tonight. I have 3 instant pots here. So we're going to be doing a cheesecake. We're going to be doing a chocolate lava cake. We're going to be doing a gingerbread pudding. I have all types of little assistants in the house that might be running in and out throughout the night. We also are going to potentially be doing some chocolate covered strawberries, time permitting. All right, so Valentine's Day is around the corner. Did I leave off one? Yeah, I did. I forgot the lava cake. Okay, so chocolate lava cake. So Valentine's Day is around the corner. These are all really great desserts that you can make for your favorite Valentines. So I'm going to get going. First thing we're going to do is the gingerbread pudding. All right, so a lot of people think gingerbread and they think like gingerbread around Christmas time. Not always the case. Ginger is a really, really great thing to put in desserts. It is a really nice contrast to a lot of the sweetness that you get. So it can give you like a really well-balanced dessert. It's used in a lot of Asian desserts. So it's a good ingredient to have. All right. For this one, we're actually going to be going off script. Now, normally I only like to do things for my own blog, but I found this recipe. I really liked it, so I wanted to give this person credit. Lean Green Bean, it's on her website. So all of the links, I believe, were sent out, but I will put them in the chat here if you wish to do that. You feel free. So the first thing we need is 6 cups of cubed French bread. I'm actually going to try using hollow bread tonight. Last time I did French bread, I thought it was a little too crunchy, so we're going to try hollow bread. I'm going to use 3 eggs, 1½ cups of milk, 1/3 cup of brown sugar, 2 tablespoons of molasses, a teaspoon of vanilla extract, a teaspoon of cinnamon, a teaspoon of ginger. Tonight I'm going to use candied ginger. Last time I used powdered, and 1½ cups of water. So you can really, put a bunch of different types of toppings on here. She suggests almond butter, chocolate chips, or more pecans for your topping. They're all optional, but they do kind of help, bring out some different flavors and add some nice contrast to the ginger. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is put my eggs, my milk, my brown sugar, my molasses, my cinnamon, my vanilla, and ginger into a bowl with my chopped pecans, and I'm going to mix them up well. So I'm going to start with my eggs. Right here. We got 3 eggs. 1, 2, 3. I have 3 eggs there. I'm just going to discard the shells. I'm going to add in my milk. So we're using 1½ cups. I have my cinnamon and my ginger. I'm going to put in my vanilla, using a teaspoon of vanilla. Use that again, so we'll keep it handy. Then I have my molasses here. That's 1. Add 1 more. Over here. And I'm going to put these ingredients away. We are going to need the vanilla again, so I'm going to keep that handy. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and just mix this. And then I'm going to add in my pecans. And then after that, I'll put my bread in there and coat it, and we'll just let it sit for a couple minutes and absorb all that really great flavor. And it smells really good. You guys will look. It looks like this. It's almost like a very light brown golden mixture. That tastes really good. Smells wonderful. Now I can add in my brown sugar. Give it another stir. With your brown sugar, you want to make sure if you have any, if any of it dries out and gets hard, it kind of forms like these little lumps. They can get very, very tough. So if you have any of those, just try to make sure you break them down. Otherwise, you can get a weird bite of sugar. Chopped pecans. I actually had some whole pecans from another recipe, so I just kind of threw them in the food processor and just pulsed them for a couple minutes, and that broke them down. All right. So this looks pretty good to me. Here. Take out 6 cups of bread. I'm going to use a silicone spatula to kind of just turn everything over. In here. I'm trying to do it so you guys can kind of see it a little bit. And I'll just tell you, a lot of people don't realize that the Instant Pot is a really good hack for making desserts, if you wish to do so. The pressure cooking feature definitely keeps like your cheesecakes really moist. A lot of times it'll help with making things like a lava cake you can make in here, which is really fun. I do a lot of dessert dips. People seem to like that. I think it's kind of, like the cannoli dips that you find in the store. I do a lot of those with like chocolate, or like I make a s'mores dip, or like a peanut butter chocolate dip. So they're definitely quite popular. Okay. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use a Pyrex bowl. So I'm going to use this one right here. I'm going to put in my bread right into the mixture. My bread mixture right into here. I'm just going to make sure that I didn't miss anything. Very well coated. I'm actually going to give this a spray before I put it in with just some baking oil. Trying to help it from sticking to the side. There we go. And we're going to transfer this right in here. Okay. So now we've got everything ready to go right in here. See, we'll let it kind of mix in a little bit. And so I'm actually going to use a trivet for this. So the Instant Pot comes with these guys. They're like little trivets. Okay. So basically you can kind of put something on there and then you can lower it in, take it out safely. And this allows it, because it has these little feet on here, to cook but not be submerged in the liquid, which is really great because then it doesn't really succumb to the intense temperature when you're boiling something in a pressure cook. So this kind of protects it a little bit. And essentially you're steam cooking it. All right. Okay, so we have our bread pudding in our glass bowl. We have our steamer rack ready to go. There's the lean bean on here has the way to make like an aluminum foil one if you don't have one of these guys to help kind of lift things in and out. They call them a sling. I'm going to put in the the water into the Instant Pot. We're going to use 1.5 cups. And one additional step I'm going to do, I'm also going to actually cover this with aluminum foil. And then once we have it like so, I'm going to put it into the Instant Pot. I'm going to set it to pressure cook for 20 minutes. You can adjust your pressure cook time with the plus and minus buttons. You're going to want to make sure you seal the Instant Pot. So on the back, there's a little valve here. You guys can see it. Turn it this way if you want to seal it. So when you're looking at it, it's kind of like at a right angle. You turn it this way if you want to do a release and let all the steam out. When you're cooking, pressure cooking, you want to make sure that it's turned and sealed up. All right. Now we can move this stuff to the side. Okay, so the next thing we're going to jump into is our lava cake. Okay, so for the lava cake, I'll put the recipe in the chat here again. There we go. So the lava cake's going to involve 6 tablespoons of unsalted butter. We're going to need 3/4 of a cup of semi-sweet chocolate chips, 1/4 cup of flour, 1 cup of powdered sugar, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 1 egg, 1 egg yolk, a tablespoon of vanilla, a cup of water, and you're going to need some porcelain dishes like this. So I think these ones are 7-ounce ones. You know, you can use 6-ounce, 7-ounce. If you do use anything bigger, you're probably going to have to adjust your cook time. But this is pretty good because this is like a single serving. It's kind of like you get it at a restaurant. So, yeah, I recommend using these. The first thing we're going to do is melt our chocolate. I'm going to use the microwave for this. I'm going to take my butter. I got 6 tablespoons of butter. My semi-sweet chocolate chips. I'm going to put my lid on and I'm going to microwave these for about 2 minutes. So that should be enough time for it to melt all the chocolate. So that's exactly what we want to do. And after it melts, what we're going to do is add powdered sugar and to the chocolate and butter mixture, and we're going to mix it up until it's nice and smooth. And we're going to add in our egg and our egg yolk, and then after that, our vanilla and our flour. Okay. So while we're waiting for that, I'm going to go ahead and just grab the water and put it into my Instant Pot. So I'm going to be using 1 cup. And again, we're going to be using one of these trays. Okay. So basically, when we set it up, it's going to look like this. That's what it looks like. So they'll all be resting on there. And if I got a fork on, because the recipe you can actually pour with, would put it right here in the center. So you have your 3 at the bottom as the base, and then you can fit a 4th one right on top. Okay, let's check on that chocolate. Okay, the chocolate looks good. I'm going to grab it right now. Okay. So I'm going to use a wooden spoon to mix this up. Actually, I'm going to grab something so I can do it in front of you. What am I doing? Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and mix these guys up. Like so. It usually takes a second. I'm trying to hold this up so you guys can see it. I also don't want it to spill. So it's a real delicate dance we're doing here. There we go. So now you really just got to mix it until it's a nice, smooth consistency. It should just take a couple minutes. And you want to do this by hand. You don't really need to get out the, the electric mixer for this. It sure smells good, I'll tell you that much. It's something I encountered today. If you ever notice that you have chocolate and maybe you've had it for, a couple months or something, and it starts to get that white texture or like powder kind of look on the outside, it's still completely edible. You could still cook with it. It actually is just something that happens when it's like a chemical reaction in the chocolate, and apparently it doesn't affect the flavor at all. It's just has a different visual appeal to it. It's actually a bloom of sorts. So I actually looked it up today because I was like, can I use this chocolate? It's a little old. And it turns out I could. Hi. I'm stirring. I can't do it. So my mixture here is almost smooth. I'll just take another minute. You want to come see? Come say hi. Hi. Yeah. Rosie, does this smell good? It's chocolate. It smells like chocolate, that's right. All right. See? It's hot, yeah. You don't want to touch it. All right, so we've stirred this up. It's almost completely smooth. I'm just gonna do it a couple more times around. I probably could have left it in there for another 10 or 15 seconds. I think it would have gone a little quicker, but that's okay, no big deal. So now we have our mixture, and it's gonna look like this. Yummy, yummy melted chocolate, right? Everybody's favorite. All right. So now that it's all mixed up, what I can do is I can go ahead and add in my powdered sugar to the chocolate mixture, okay? So I have a couple powdered sugar here. I'm trying to do it this way. And this is really going to cause it to get thick. It's okay. I do a lot of classes, but I don't get as much attention for chili programs. But somehow when I do the dessert classes, everybody wants to be in here. You want to help? Here, start. Thank you. Yummy, smells good, right? All right, so we have our powdered sugar in here. We're mixing it up again. This recipe is a lot of mixing. It's definitely a lot of mixing. All right, so essentially you want to make sure you get all the white from powdered sugar out of here. And so that nice smooth texture we had is really going to alter. It's going to become kind of like a film. So you can see the consistency has changed a lot, right? All right, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add our egg yolk, and our flour. One whole egg. Then we're going to do one egg yolk. There we go, one egg yolk. Let's stir this a little. Gonna get that chocolate reconstituted, blended with the egg. We're gonna add in our vanilla too, which we haven't put in yet. So again, I can put this down so you guys can see what's happening here. There we go. So we had a nice milky smooth chocolate mixture. Then we added the sugar and then it became very, very thick. And now we're going to put the egg in and it's going to get nice and soft and smooth again. There we go. We're just trying to make it smooth again. All right, so let's get it smooth. So there. Excuse me. All right. So I'm going to add in my vanilla. We're going to be using a tablespoon of vanilla. Now we got our vanilla. And then we can add in our flour. It's almost going to look like cake batter now. There we go. All right, so now we are ready to go. Just want to give it a good stir, make sure that your flour is all mixed in nicely with your chocolate. Rotate it around, scrape anything off the sides that might be there still. All right, cool. Okay, so the next step is going to be to grease our ramekins, and then we're going to add our mixture, and then we're going to put it into the Instant Pot. All right, so number one. Don't be shy. You want these really to be able to slide out easily. And so you're really going to want to fill these up. There's kind of like a line here before it kind of curves out like that. So you're just going to want to fill it to that line. A little below is okay too. There we go. So here we go. Ooh. We're adding this all in, and this is a great, it's actually a great dessert for Valentine's Day. I have to do this one like this because I'm going to need to scrape. Now I'm just adding that chocolate in here. Making sure we get it all into our ramekin. Like so. All right, good. Use this just to scrape this off here. There we go. As much of it as we can. You don't want to waste any, right? I'm just going to clean off the ramekin before I put it in. Try to get it all off on the sides there. Sometimes this is the tricky part. Trying to get them all fit on here. There we go. Okay. Well, I was struggling, but I'm going to show you what it looks like. I actually ended up doing the pyramid stack here. All right. So I'll just pressure cook for 8 minutes. So I will point out, it does take some time for the Instant Pots to pressurize. So, you know, we started this one probably, I don't know, I want to say 25 minutes ago. So it probably came on like 10 minutes in, 5 or 10 minutes in. So it takes a couple of minutes for all the water inside the Instant Pot to heat up, start to boil. And then eventually when it starts to boil, the steam will build up and it'll kind of seal up these Instant Pots. When I say seal them up, there's a little valve here, a little pin. It's got silicone on the bottom. And then when enough steam is inside the pot, it'll push up like that and it'll seal up the Instant Pot and then no steam can escape. And that's when you start pressure cooking. The reason you want to pressure cook is because it'll allow you to reach temperatures that you can't normally reach. And for example, on your stovetop, you can get up to like 100 degrees Celsius, right, when you boil water. When you do a pressure cook in the Instant Pot, because of the pressure, pressurized environment, excuse us, you can get up to 112 to 116 degrees Celsius. So you're cooking up to 16 times faster, which is really awesome. You know, when you're doing certain types of foods, it saves a ton of time. That's the name Instant Pot. Okay. Okay, so the next thing we're going to work on is the cheesecake. So the Instant Pot cheesecake is probably the most talked about dessert in the Instant Pot. There's a whole bunch of different types you can do. You can do, you know, chocolate cheesecakes, some peanut butter cheesecakes, all different types of things. It's really great for that because, like I said, it keeps everything really moist. It makes a really good sized one. They're only making it with like a little springform pan, so it's a 7-inch one, so it's not too big. And it's pretty easy to make, you know. So there's a million cheesecake recipes out there. You can definitely Google Instant Pot cheesecakes, and you'll see, you know, a million different options. So the one I'm going to make today, I have, again, I put the recipe in the chat, but I have the directions to do the crust with like a graham cracker crust. Okay, so that takes about probably 20 minutes to make. So I went ahead and did that ahead of time just because we weren't going to have time. And then after that, we'll put in the batter. But I just want to show you for the crust, that's what it looks like. You know, it's just a standard graham cracker crust in a springform pan here. You might have to order one of these 7-inch pans or buy one. If you're using a 6-quart Instant Pot, which is the smaller one, these are the biggest ones that'll fit in there. Like if you have a big one at home, like I want to say, I think they're like 9 inches, it won't fit in there. So I got this one, I want to say at Bed Bath & Beyond or Home Goods, one of those stores. So they're not like really hard to find, but if you're having trouble, you can always, you know, go on Amazon or just Google it, you'll be able to find one. So for this, I crush my graham crackers. I have 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. I have a pinch of sea salt. I have 4 tablespoons of unsalted butter that I melt. And then I use a 1/4 cup of flour. So what I do is I crush my graham crackers. I add in my brown sugar, my sea salt, and I kind of mix them all together. Then I add in my flour, mix it up again. Then finally I add in my butter, and I kind of just mix that all in there. And just make sure you try to get every piece of the graham cracker wet. And then what I do is I take like a glass and I kind of push it down and pack it in there nice and tight. And then I bake it at 325 for 15 minutes. Okay, so not too difficult. If you ever made a graham cracker crust before, pretty basic. Okay, so the next part is the cheesecake batter. So for this, we're going to use 16 ounces of Philadelphia cream cheese. You're going to want to let it sit out for a while and get to room temperature. You're also going to want to do 2 eggs. You're going to want to let those get to room temperature too. 2/3 of a cup of white sugar, 1/2 cup of sour cream. We're going to use some cornstarch, 2 tablespoons, 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract, and 2 pinches of sea salt. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to mix the cornstarch, the sea salt, and the white sugar together and put that in a mixing bowl. So I'm doing everything here. It's all mixed up. Some of this stuff. Space. All right, so after I do that, I am going to take my cream cheese and I'm going to beat it for about 10 seconds with a hand mixer at low speed, okay? Go ahead and open up my cream cheese here. Just grab my scissors. All right, so our lava cake has pressurized, so it's going to start counting down from 8 minutes now. One. The other one here. So we got our second cream cheese, which is going in right now. Mixing bowl here. There we go. Making sure we can get all of our cream cheese in there from the container. Okay, good. Where's my hands here? All right, so I'm going to grab my mixer, and we're just going to mix this on low. Not for too long, just for a couple seconds. You don't want to overmix it, you just want to make sure you get it. There we go. Good. Got some cream cheese on my shirt. This happens. All right. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add the sour cream and vanilla extract to the cream cheese mixture, and we're going to beat it again for about 20 seconds. So we're going to be doing about a half a cup. Like so. Put this over here. Got a half cup of sour cream in there. You can use any kind you like. I don't really have a preference. And then we're going to go ahead and put in the vanilla. All right, so for the vanilla, we have 2 tablespoons. 2 tablespoons or teaspoons? Just 2 teaspoons, excuse me. Yeah, that didn't sound right. Here. One. There we go, 2 teaspoons of vanilla. once you beat it, it's going to be really finely whipped. You can kind of start to see the little lines in there, which is what we're going for. All right. So now we can go ahead and add in the eggs, and then we'll combine everything. One egg, another second egg. And we'll go back to mixing. All right, that's great. So now what we can do is take that and combine it into our larger bowl. All right. So we're going to put the dry ingredient mix together with the cheese blend. Just looking for my, there it is. There we go. Beautiful. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and just make this. I'm going to go this and just fold everything over a few times. Again, we don't want to overmix this, but we do want to make sure that all our ingredients are well incorporated. There we go. All right, so show what we got here. There we go. So it smells really good. So what we can do now is just take this and pour it right into our crust. All right, so these. Okay, so this is all mixed up. And before we go in, I'll look like this. And I'm going to try to just shade this here. I have very bright lights in here, so you don't always get to see as well as I'd like. But yeah, there you go. That's what it looks like before it goes in. So I would put this in my Instant Pot, again on a trivet. I would put in 1.5 cups of water, I believe. And I would pressure cook it for 31 minutes. And then I would do a 6-minute natural release. So because this takes so long, I actually made one ahead of time. You guys can kind of see what it looks like. So got a nice yummy cheesecake here. You can see I actually bumped it in the fridge and it got a crack in it. Oops. But anyway, you get the idea. Now you can cover this in, cherries. You can do chocolate drizzle. You can take it in a million different directions. You can use fresh fruit, which is always nice. Pie filling, whatever. And then you can have a really nice dessert. All right. So I did hear my gingerbread pudding finish up, and I think my excuse me, my lava cake also finished. So I'm going to pressure release both of these. Okay. Got one. Now we'll get the other one out. All right. So while those are releasing, I'm actually going to just grab my water and add it to my instant pot here. And what I'm going to do is actually, I'm going to turn my instant pot into a double boiler. Okay, so what I did is I just took a bowl. If you have a glass bowl, even better. I'm just going to use a steel bowl. You want one that'll actually fit and nest kind of in your instant pot, and kind of sit right here. So this lip on your bowl will kind of brush up against the lip of the instant pot. What you do is you add 1.5 cups of water, and you use the saute function. You turn it to saute low, right? Now you can just put some top. All right. So now that'll kind of lock it in there. What we can do is we can add in some dark chocolate and some coconut oil, or you can use shortening if you want. And we're going to put the chocolate chips in the bowl, and they're going to start to melt. And then we'll be able to dip our strawberries in there, and we can, use toppings if we want. Like I had some pretzels, crushed up peanuts, and some coconut flakes. So you can kind of, roll them in that, and it's pretty cool. Tablespoon here. We're going to put in our tablespoon of coconut oil. Okay. And we'll just give that a couple minutes, and it'll start melting. So in the meantime, I'm going to pull out these desserts. I'm actually just going to make a little space here. Working in a small, tight area. It's less than ideal. Go. I'm just going to take one of these out. So we have this. You can see some of our pecans in here. Really great. You know, it's kind of like consistency. Right out of it. And you know, like I said, you can top it with chocolate, almond butter, chocolate chips, and it has really nice contrast because that ginger's in there. So the ginger adds a little bit of spice, you know, but not too much. So it's a really great dessert. The lava cake, I'm actually just going to let it cool for a minute. And then while that's cooling, I'm just going to kind of check out the chocolate down here. So it definitely looks like the the oil is starting to melt. So the chocolate should be probably about 5 minutes. And then we can, you know, do some dips and see how it turns out. All right. In the meantime, does anybody have any questions? Feel free to throw in the chat. Check here. Nothing in the chat. Okay. All right. So in the meantime, I will give you this. This is the chocolate covered strawberries. So the recipe I gave you, that's enough to cover, like, let's see, 2 dozen large strawberries. So maybe like 1.5 of these, I think they're 16 ounce containers. These guys, which has maybe close, but I mean, you really probably want to pick your best ones. Like, you got your nice big ones like this versus doing like, you know, maybe a smaller one. So it really depends on the presentation you're going for. You might need to get 2 of these to kind of get, you know, the visual effect you want. You know, and plus, I always find whenever I buy these, there's always a few that are, you know, you got to throw out because they're either a little soft or they might have some mold on them. You know, so even like this one's super soft, so I'm just toss it out. So 2 is probably a safe bet, but maybe you could get lucky with 1. All right, let me show you this real quick. You can see that everything's starting to melt. Which is great. That's what we want. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a piece of parchment, put it on a cookie sheet. All right. And what you're going to want to do is after you dip them, you're going to want to put them in the fridge for about 15 minutes. And then they should be, you know, cool enough for you to handle. And if you want to, you could freeze them until you're ready to serve them. I'm just going to stir this a little. You have to be careful because you don't want any of that steam to get in there because it'll make your chocolate seize up. Okay. Great. So those, the chocolate's ready. I'm gonna grab my little toppings. Like I said, I have some coconut here, some coconut flakes. See. I did some crushed up peanuts. And I just did some pretzels. So the technique is really to stick it in here and kind of just roll it like that. So now I got a nice chocolate covered strawberry, so I can do a dip. And now let's put a nice chocolate covered strawberry and coconut on it. Hello. So I'm going to do one of each of these. I'll show them to you guys. So now I have 3 very lovely chocolate covered strawberries. Like I said, so they'll go in the refrigerator after this for about 15 minutes. And after that, you'll be able to handle them without, turning your hands into a complete mess. But they're super yummy. And yeah, I recommend them. All right, so let me just flip this lava cake open. Hopefully it'll land nicely. It's always a challenge. You never know if it's gonna separate from the wall as it should. I think it's cool enough now that it should. All right, so go like this, over like that. Something kind of underneath. So then you have a beautiful lava cake like this. And we cut into it. We hope that we get the lava effect, which we do. Yummy, yummy lava cake. That's the best part, right? So just like you get at the restaurant. So if you can't go out this Valentine's Day and you love lava cake, now you can make it. All right. So that concludes my program this evening. I say thank you to Copic Library. I appreciate it. Guys, please check out my blog, pressurecookerpassion.com. My name is Aidan, and everybody stay safe and stay healthy. Night.